Today, on this one, we will be looking at the trial of Cradle of the Death God. It is fairly simple and straightforward in its execution. The dilemma comes if it is not executed properly, then you are going to fail it. A lot of people, as soon as they see this trial pop up, will leave a pug group. And it's not that it's overly difficult. It's just the way that it's designed is it can be extremely frustrating if you do not know what's going on. This thing runs in several phases. You have the elevator phase, you have the umbilical phase, you have two phases of the baby death god with a break phase in between. And that's about it. On this, what's going to happen is you're going to start on an elevator. The elevator starts dropping, you start killing mobs. Most people will take this as a typical tank and spank, you just beat mobs until the elevator stops. This is not the case. There are two things going on here that has to be taken into consideration. Players will have a death skull attached to them, and the other players will, by habit, want to destroy it. You do not. The player kites this to the opposite side, to the edge of the elevator. When it reaches there, it jumps over and does damage to the unseen Lich narrator that's going on. And you'll see his damage along the very top on a top hit bar that appears at the top of the monitor. The second thing that goes on in this is there will be gelatinous cubes that will be formed and will appear. Again, you do not kill them. You kite them to one of the 8 cogs on there's 2 cogs on each corner of the elevator. You kite them to the cog, it gets sucked into the cog, and it gums up the cog wheel. When you have enough cog wheels gummed up, the elevator comes to a stop. The sooner you do this, the quicker the elevator comes to a stop, the shorter the fight. That's the elevator sequence. The next sequence, you will come in, you'll get a little cutscene, then it will go. The guy will start yelling, cut, cut, cut. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, there's like 5 umbilical cords. They're hanging in like tendrils off along the perimeter, left, right, front, and back. What you've got to do is your DPS run around and they destroy these. During this time, masses of mobs will appear. If you've got a good tank, he can tank these, pull them away from the DPS. They get the tendrils cut, and then the mobs disappear. What normally happens is they start fighting the mobs. The DPS start trying to kill the mobs, and it just keeps producing more mobs. They get overwhelmed. People quit in frustration. When you have all of the tendrils cut, the mobs disappear. If you have a real good DPS group, they could probably do both at the same time, keep the mob numbers down off of the tank while the others cut the tendrils. But this normally does not work out well, and again, people quit in frustration due to multiple wipes. Once the tendrils are cut, you then go into the Death God. There are a couple of phases in this, again, which, if you know what's going on, does not make it as frustrating as it can be, but it can be extremely frustrating. Typical scenario, stay away from the red lit areas. Death God will swipe, scream, narrator will yap. At one point, there's going to be actually several points, the Death God sinks down into the pit. When he does this, you need to get to the outer ring that of the platform that you're on, because he's going to start sucking you in. The dilemma with this is if you have any latency. You do not hear the sound cues quickly enough, and he'll pop back up, and then he throws everybody off the ring platform out to your death. It is good to have at least one or two individuals with either scrolls of mass life or scrolls of life that can bring themselves back and get everybody else. Otherwise, it's a wipe. And I don't care how good you are at this, it's going to catch you at some point, one time or another. So it's just good to have them on hand. He's going to do this a couple of times. Then you're going to knock him down in hit points, and the lich is going to appear. You're going to beat on the lich, blah, 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 blah. And then he says, I've only got a little bit of power left. Everybody should run to the tank and get under the bubble. Otherwise, you're going to die. Boom, thing goes off. Everybody comes out of the bubble. You beat the death god again. You go through the same sequence. Eventually, he dies. Yay, everybody wins. You run out going, what a crappy trial. However, it could be a lot more crappier if you have people that need to complete this, and every time that they go in, 1, 2, or 3 people simply drop out as soon as they see what module that they popped into, because it's either they consider it undefeatable, overly frustrating, or that it takes too long. So having said all of that, let's go through the phases, and let you see what the heck's going on with this thing. All right, welcome to Death God. Hopefully, we're going to get a good pug group, and everybody knows what's going on, so we can get this thing done. All right, this is phase 1, the elevator. You'll see the cogwheels I was talking about. That's where you've got to pull the jellies. There's your sound cue, and the fight starts. It looks like a lot, however, the mobs will drop fairly easily if you're in a well-equipped group. Try to stay toward the center so that the healer can do his AoEs, and it makes it much easier on everyone. You will notice the projection of Akar Rock up at the top. Okay, I've got a skull. I will drag the skull over to here. And boom, you notice it does damage to him. The quicker you knock him down, the quicker that, there, I've got another one. I'll drag him over here. Hopefully people are going to leave him alone. Don't kill skulls. They do not know what's going on. There we go. The next skull should appear somewhere over here. Bam. I've got to kite him back over to this side. See, they keep killing the skulls. And now we're going to have it's going to be longer now because they killed the skull. So that phase is over. Again, it will last longer if they kill the skulls and do not do that properly. It will lengthen the fight. It will almost double the length of the fight. Then we come to the next phase. Here we go for the next phase. You'll hear that high-pitched whining. Now fall. All right, now we want to look for the do not kill jellies. There, you see he's attached. He's going to drag him over. Do not. And there. Once you get him over here, you will then kill him. And he will splatter and go onto the cogwheels. See, he got both of these on this corner. The next one goes over here. And now we'll kill him. Bam. See any splatters. We'll do a little fight. There's another jelly. The sooner you get these jellies done, the faster you bring this to a conclusion. Drag him over. Now we kill him. Bam. And that ends it. It's that simple. Otherwise, you're here for friggin' ever fighting and fighting and fighting. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8 of them. Not 5. We've got 8. Here, once again, everybody should focus on one at a time, run clockwise. The tank should be pulling in the... watch the annihilation. You notice part of the DPS is over there cleaning that up. The tank's keeping them off of the DPS. Dang it. Get off of me, spider. The tank is keeping them off the DPS. It's doing the tendrils. Come on, where's the healer? There he is, okay. And boom, all of them disappear. You don't have to keep killing all those mobs. This is where people start dying, because in my opinion, they did not calculate for latency, and they made this causeway too thin, too small. If you get an arrow over your head, get away from the other people. Otherwise, you will damage everyone. Or the other way that people look at it is if you get with everybody, it mitigates the damage between everyone. If you're not watching it though, and you run into a bunch of injured individuals, you can end up... See, I'm pulling the aggro off of the boss. That's why he keeps crowd controlling me. If you mitigate the damage over everyone, then you can wind up killing. See here, now he's in here. He's going to suck us in. There, he's back up. You notice I tried staying right in the center, and he won't throw you off as easily. If you're too far out, you get thrown off on the outside and die. If you're too close in, you get sucked in and die. It's a real frustrating thing. I normally die at least once or twice during this. Now I'm going to move away from everyone. We're going to stack up these two guys. I'm going to buff us. There. And see, I pulled the aggro again. The tank is not doing well at holding the aggro. You can attack the hands. If you see somebody held, attack the hands. And it will break that hold. Here we go. Ah! See, my hands, I have issues with my hands. Hopefully someone's going to, there we go. I have issues with my hands. They're partially paralyzed. And at that point, it did not push the button I wanted it to. And I mean, that split second right there is a matter of whether you live or die. Now, in a minute, we're going to hit the bubble. There we go. Now, we watch where the bubble is. Over here. We're going to kill him. Now he's giving all of his power to the God Baby. See the bubble? The tank throws the bubble up. We run under the bubble. He guards. If you're not under this bubble, you will more than likely die. And that's it. It can be that smooth. I only died because my hand didn't want to work right. And you come over, you have the one here that requires, again, a purchased key, and your regular one. Again, always check your stuff. If you've got the options for a reroll, you may want to do that. See, I got that. I need that one, so I will accept that. And that is Cradle of the Death God Trial.